And
We love XCritic. They just gave me a bunch of awards.
say that again.
What's that?
Say that again. What
I
did you say?
said, they just gave me Feature of the Year and Director Feature of the Year.
And
We love XCritic.
I love XCritic too. That's why I write for them. I'm loyal to XCritic. They are, hey, when it comes to reviews, who's the authority? XCritic, you know. But yeah, congrats on Underworld, which AVN calls your crowning achievement. When you hear praise like that, does it make you more determined to outdo yourself and make your next project even more grander in scale?
You know what? It's funny when a movie really hits. It does give you a little, that pat on the back, especially when it's really well received by everybody. You're definitely happy to hear it, because then when it's universal. Sometimes you get ones that somebody loves, somebody didn't really dig. So when it's universal like that, it's always good, because you did your job, and everybody's seeing what you were hoping they would.
What keeps driving you to create films, especially films like Underworld and these big epics that that you're really known for? What drives you still?
Well, after doing this for 20 years now, pretty much, if I was just doing the run-of-the-mill stuff over and over and over, I think I'd already be done. So it's that quest to find the next cool thing. It's not always the epic that I do, because sometimes I do the high-end vignettes and sometimes a little romantic comedy. So I like to switch it up a little bit, because if you're doing the same thing over and over, it would get old as well. So, but I really like being that guy who people are talking about. Not so much just for the accolades, but that you've done your job. And on the set is fun. It's cool doing cool stuff, rather than girl number 4 on couch number 3. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's when you're doing stuff like that, it's creativity and making new things happen. It's fun.
Creatively, it must be more fulfilling when you make films like Underworld and the other films that you've done in the past. But which are more fun to do? Because I'm assuming a film like Underworld, it's pretty grueling. But do you have more fun making the vignettes and the romantic comedies?
I mean, the epics can be grueling. You're definitely working. When it all comes together, then it's fun. But yeah, I think when you're doing the vignettes, it's just art for art's sake, and you just get to have fun doing it. It's kind of like making music videos or a photo shoot, where it's just trying to capture beautiful things with no real rhyme or reason. You're just making things hot and sexy and pretty.
Now, the marketing campaign on Underworld is massive. Are you involved in any of that, in the whole marketing of the film, or do you just concentrate on the filmmaking?
For the epics, I do get involved in everything from working with the box cover artists to marketing and like the contests and things like that we've done in the past. For the epics, you kind of need to keep the ball rolling and keep fan interest to give the movie legs, so that it doesn't come out, everybody goes crazy, and then it falls apart. So you want it to all the rest of it, the marketing and the box cover and stuff, to really reflect the movie, because they are both huge selling tools, and obviously to do big movies, they have to sell. So otherwise, next year you don't get to do a big movie no more.
Exactly, yeah. Now, 20 years as a filmmaker, just tell me, what's the most grueling aspect about being a filmmaker, as well as the most rewarding aspect about being a filmmaker?
I think especially on the bigger movies, the pre-production is always a pain in the ass. You know what I mean? It can get really grueling. It's one of those things where you're not getting the payoff that you are on set. You know what I mean? Where, okay, you're working, but you're seeing the beautiful things, you're seeing the good acting, you're seeing all those things that are coming together. But the pre-production, it's as much or more work, and nothing's really happening. That's when you're dealing with all the problems, so that when you get on set, everything runs smoothly. So that's your kind of problem area. It's the craziness before the calm, as opposed to the calm before the storm. And
the most rewarding?
It's the finished product where you start to see things really coming together, and your vision has been achieved, and you know, it's one of those things where it feels good. You know, it's all done, and it's like
Yeah.
So
You can take a deep breath
Yeah.
and start relaxing, put your feet up.
exactly,
Yeah.
you get a week, and then you're moving on to the next movie. So.
Just between us, has there ever been a project you invested a lot of time in, and then when you went and started making it, it wasn't coming together at all, you had to scrap it, or it just didn't come out the way you wanted it to come out?
I mean, there's definitely been a couple of movies that in the end didn't have the factor that you were hoping for, and then
Okay.
vice versa. Some of the ones that you thought were just okay, at the end after editing, they did have that wow. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So, you know, like I would say, there's about 7 movies. There's the movie that the idea that you come up with. Then there's the script that you get on paper. Then there's the movie that you can actually do in the budget that you have.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's the movie that you think you get in the camera. Then the movie that you actually end up with after editing. Then there's a movie you think you see.
Yeah.
And then there's the movie that everybody else is watching. So there's really, from start to finish, the project does go through a lot of variances, and what you start out with isn't always what you end with.
Absolutely. But even in films that really worked out great, and you loved how it came out, sometimes they don't always come exactly the way you
Oh no,
pictured.
no!
Right.
I mean, very seldom.
happens,
Like,
yeah.
even the minute from when I finish shooting to the end result is often very different. Sometimes it's a pleasant surprise. Sometimes it's let's get back to the drawing board and
Yeah.
innovate on that.
That happens, yeah.
So,
Axel Braun just joined the Wicked family,
he did.
and what are your thoughts about Axel joining Wicked? Does that add a lot more muscle to Wicked?
I mean, the bottom line is we were kind of friendly rivals. We don't do exactly the same thing, but every year we're both up for the big cheese awards.
Yep.
So now it's one of those things where at least we'll keep it in the family. I'm sure we'll kind of ping pong his year, my year, his year, my year. But it's one of those things where, you know, I much rather have him as an ally than a foe. And
Okay.
also one of the cool things is, because I'm still acting, I get to be in his big movies now as well. So I think that's going to be exciting.
That was going to be one of my follow-up questions. Will there be any sort of collaborations? Will you be?
I don't know if we'll collaborate director-wise, but I think definitely I'd like to work for him. He does some great stuff, and I don't get to act as much as I like to without being in my own movie. When it's in my
Mhm.
movie, I have so many other things going on in my head that it's not always the best situation for an actor and for a performer. So this way it'll be a pleasant change to just be worrying about the character and my sex scenes
Mhm.
as opposed to a million other things. And
That'll be a relief.
it's
yeah.
a whole
Yeah.
lot easier to do that, yeah.
Have you ever? What's one movie you watched that wasn't a Wicked movie or one of your movies that you said to yourself, God, I wish I had come up with the idea for that film, and God, I wish I had directed it?
There was a vampire movie from Nick Andrews that I really liked back in the day. There's definitely been a couple of parodies that I've seen kicking around. Shit, why didn't I think of that one? Because they did some really good work on some of the parodies lately.
Yeah.
As far as original stuff, it's kind of few and far between. I liked some of the visuals that Michael Nin used to do.
Mhm.
He had some great visuals around. Wow, that was done really nice. But I mean, everybody does their own thing, and if it was meant to be, I would have done it myself.
But you have a great body of work, so I'm sure a lot of people say, God, I wish I had directed that Brad Armstrong project.
So you can't, if you're being held on a pedestal, you can't do much complaining about your career.
And in 30 seconds, the condom debate. Wicked's a condom company. Where do you stand on it? Do you feel studios should make it mandatory or voluntary?
I always wonder, like, for me to even be directing with condoms, it's tough enough for me to get some of the talent to wear the condoms. I have to battle with them every day. So if held as the performer's choice, I know what that choice would probably be, especially for the guys.
Yeah.
But it's a difficult issue to sum up in 30 seconds, but, you know, I don't think, if everybody was condom, it would be the same thing, because everybody's on a level playing field, so it's not like they're gonna lose money or make extra money. It's just, if everybody's on the same playing field, you know, people will either watch all your old vintage stuff or watch what you're making.
You know what? I'll add some.
Shit?
No. I'll give you some extra time, but because I don't want to take up a lot of your time, because I know there are a lot of people wanting to interview you. But just going back to the condom question, if you had a choice, and you've been with Wicked for so many years, so you wear condoms all the time. But if you had a choice, would you?
For me, if everybody was condom, that would be great, because for me, I come really easy. So
Okay.
the condoms actually help me out as a performer, because they slow my roll down, especially if I'm working with an Asian girl. I am like, bam, if I got an Asian girl.
So now we got to talk about Asa Akira then. All right.
There you go.
Now, Asa Akira, what are your thoughts about her joining the Wicked staff? And what do you think she brings to Wicked?
I mean, I was actually, funny enough, it all happened on Twitter. I was the one who basically made it happen. Somebody tweeted me and said, "You gotta sign Madison Ivy and Asa Akira." And as luck would have it, Asa was following my line. She goes, "Was it you?" She texted me, "Was it you guys who signed Madison?" I said, "No, it was Brazzers." And she goes, "I thought it was for sure you guys." I said, "Well, we'd be happy to have both of you." And we almost signed Asa when she first got into business. It just didn't work out. And then we basically started talking. I said, "Well, you would still be interested, would you?" She goes, "You know what? My career's at a point right now that I'm ready for a change, and maybe I would." So, had a couple meetings, went back and forth, and we are more than happy to have Asa as our Wicked girl.
All right. So does that mean harder stuff from Wicked? Because
Well,
she's a hard performer, and
I just started. I just completed her first Wicked movie as a contract girl. I called Asa Gets Wicked, and she brings her Asa-ism to this movie, and she's in every scene, and every scene is either anal or DP.
Mhm.
So
Okay.
nothing's changing with her performance. It just happens to be for us now.
Is there any final thoughts you want to tell the XCritic audience? Anything you want to mention that I haven't brought up?
XCritics, thank you very much for the Best Feature and Best Feature Director awards. Thank you very much. It's been a long time since XCritics gave me a little love, so it was nice, nice change. And keep watching Wicked. Glad to have you as a viewer. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Brad.
Cool.